There seems to be some very serious misconceptions with regard to debt counselling, and that might also be what is hindering people from approaching a debt counsellor when they do find themselves over indebted. Something we find is that very many people think that money is being handed over to a debt counsellor, the debt counsellor then pays their creditor. Nobody seems to have informed the public of the role of the PDA. Roger, Ian?
Well, I think the PDA was not part of the Act anyway. So there weren't PDAs when debt counselling started in June 2007. And they were a late arrival and probably too late. And once again, well, Roger and I, having been in the industry for the last 6 years, we've paid the school fees in terms of what we've learnt, and the PDAs have certainly done that as well. And I can now say that the PDAs that are in operation are extremely good and extremely successful. But I agree that the consumer hasn't properly been educated. There's still a lot of confusion as to where that money's going. And again, historically, there were bad stories about debt counsellors maybe not distributing the money. But now all debt counsellors must use a PDA. The debt counsellors do not touch the money themselves, and it goes through a highly regulated payment distribution authority. For example, Hyphen, which is part of the First RAND group, who run an extremely efficient process and system. And the consumers pay money into the PDA, and they now get statements every month. They get SMSs to say that their money has gone into the PDA and been distributed. It's a very effective system now.
Roger, do you agree that the PDAs have come to play a role in the debt counselling industry?
The distribution of money that is paid over by the clients was always going to be an issue of trust and whether it could efficiently be placed where it's supposed to be placed. I think that debt counselling is pretty complicated. It's complicated wherever you're sitting, whether you're sitting as a debt counsellor or as a public distribution agency or PDA. It's complicated because of the number of transactions, the amount of money, the amount of data that has to flow. So the PDAs have certainly helped simplify the process. What I think over this last 6 years, it's been good to see that it's become more effortless, is that we're getting good support from the public distribution agencies, and they do give us a level of security and trust that we wouldn't have if money was getting paid into the account or the trust account of a debt counsellor and that money was not being controlled correctly. So certainly the PDAs have come a long way, and they do help the industry regulate and make sure that the services that we promise as debt counsellors actually do take place.